Welcome back to Risque Business News. I'm your host, Laura.
And I'm May.
And I'm really excited for today's episode because we are going to be talking about the WWE World Wrestling Entertainment.
Amazing.
And Vince McMahon, who is in a bit of hot water right now.
I've seen.
Yeah. So we're going to go through the story. If you haven't been following, he fucked a lot.
Who didn't, I guess?
I mean, in conclusion, podcast over. Vince be fucking. Enjoy.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money.
Hold on.
From that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm going to ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque Business News. All right, we're back. May, what's up?
Not much. Same old shit. Nothing really new to report.
Okay.
Trying to think of other things that are going on. I'm going to Costa Rica in a little bit.
That's great.
That'll be fun.
Absolutely. You're going to go hang out with some monkeys.
Yeah. They have monkeys there? I didn't know that. Really?
Oh, why bother going?
Really? Have you been?
No, but we might go soon as well. We're trying to decide right now. There's also famously sloths.
Oh, that's fun. I like
Maybe I was just going for what are you going for?
I don't know. Mark got booked on some weird thing, so we're just like going to Costa Rica, and so we're just chilling.
Do you know where Costa Rica is?
I know where Costa Rica is. It's below Mexico.
Yes,
but I just don't know. I didn't know that there was monkeys.
Yeah,
down there.
Monkeys,
I thought
monkeys and sloths.
Okay.
Monkeys
for some reason, I think of monkeys as like a Madagascar exclusive.
Oh, definitely not. Well, it's good. We're already learning on the pod right out the gate. That's great. Mm-hmm. Well, enjoy your time with the monkeys. Beyond that, what's been going on in the news? Certainly Elon Musk has been up to stuff. Don't you worry. We'll be doing an update soon enough.
Sure.
I mean, I can't escape it. It is my destiny now to.
Did you see those vacation pictures of him where he's like pale as a ghost?
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and bring those up.
Friend of the pod, Chris Allen, did a little TikTok where he was like taking a white crayon and putting it over his body, and it kept disappearing into his body. He was like, literally, there's no difference between this white Crayola crayon and his body.
Mykonos, look at Elon go, just hanging out and being. Also, like him versus Jeff Bezos, definitely Jeff Bezos could take him in a fight.
Oh, for sure. But
there's just no way.
It's fascinating. Like, I get it. He's a billionaire. He's brilliant, all this stuff. But the tale that this man has pulled,
it's pretty incredible.
Like, he's had sex with some of those hottest women in the world.
He has 9 children. That's what it'll do to your body.
Even as a guy. Even as a guy. Speaking of uggos having sex with hot women,
while we're on the topic,
Emily Ratajkowski got cheated on. Can you fucking believe that?
What's wrong?
Also, I'm like, who is this woman that cheated with that guy? Because if I were that woman, I would be like, first of all, I'm insanely insecure right now. Please don't look at me naked.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you're used to is not what you're about to see.
Oh, that, yeah. I mean, I'm sure she's probably like another comparable model of sorts.
Is there such a thing? I mean, she's like the hottest woman on earth.
We absolutely need to find out who this woman is, because that is going to be maybe a plot twist. Maybe she's just like a very academic lady who just they had a riveting conversation over a stiff cocktail at one point.
I somehow doubt that.
Probably
but
not.
Yeah.
No, it's probably just a model. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what a lesson. I've said this for years, and this is my stance. And you know what? It's a pretty good one. That hot women that date ugly men, it always backfires. Every time. They date ugly men thinking that they can like control this man or whatever. And then the guy gets way too much confidence, and then he goes around and cheats on them because he's like, I'm the man in this situation. Like, he thinks that. But then if you date somebody who's always been pretty good looking and always, not had to like be super worried about where he's going to get his next vagina, then he's not worried about it so much. So he's like, I like you specifically. And he's not like, I don't have anything to prove,
I think I hope that that's not entirely true.
Oh, it's true.
I'm thinking of like a bunch of my friends right now, and I'm like, oh, oof, they're in for a world of hurt. Oof, oof. Every girl I went to not college with. Like,
I was not popular in high school by any means. I had braces, acne,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. However, there was like this particularly dorky kid who I like barely knew, and he asked me to prom. And so I was like, yeah, sure. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I'll go with you. Like, I don't really know you that well,
Yeah.
but
Also, by
sure.
the way, for people going to prom and stuff like that, just ask, because the girl will likely say yes.
Right.
She's just thrilled for, like, she wants to lock it down.
Yeah,
Nightmare is to
exactly.
not lock it down ahead.
And like,
For all the high schoolers out here listening, first of all, why? And second
well,
of all,
and it would be insanely mean to say no, obviously. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go to prom with you, whatever. A week before prom, he goes, actually, I'm going to go with this other girl. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I tried to be nice to this like nerdy kid with no friends, and this is what he does to me?
how rude.
And ever since then, I'm like, listen.
Well, I will say that I
On to
dated
them.
I dated and I don't even care, a very ugly man in high school, because he was, this was like one of my first boyfriends, but he was like very, very popular. But he was like he was hot by Rhode Island standards, which, sorry, Rhode
I
Island.
don't know, man. Like Newport surfer dudes.
Newport
kinda
surfer
hot.
dudes. That's not, yeah, to be fair, there was in the limited selection of the ones at that point, but holy shit. And then he cheated on me.
I'm sure
and it
he
was
did.
so funny because I was just like, oh, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. All right. So we get to stop this weird facade that's
Right.
going on here. Like,
Who did he cheat on you with?
who cares? I don't even remember. That's how little I was like bothered by it. But I was just like, yeah, man, we're going to move it along. We're going to move it along. All
Yeah.
right. Let's talk to you never.
Yeah, uggos.
Well,
They're
Elon,
the worst kind of people.
Elon, I'm wondering, because I feel like he's gone up and down. Like, this is like a particularly bad situation for him.
We don't often see him with his shirt off, nips blazing, though.
This is,
You know.
this is true. Not nearly enough.
His nips are really kind of huge.
They're
Like,
sticking out. Like,
Not
yeah.
like circumference-wise, but like length-wise, you know?
Yeah. Well, again, what am I going to tell you? 9 kids. Elon's a very, very sympathetic father.
They're all sucking off the teat of his finances,
Yes,
I'll tell you that.
absolutely. How pissed much each one of these kids get when another one gets born? And they're like,
Oh.
are you fucking kidding me? It's another person in the will.
Honestly, though, like, they've more money than they could ever spend in this
Nope.
lifetime.
Furious. It's the principle of the thing. Look, I like this.
Didn't his dad also have a kid recently?
His dad had a... Okay, if you've been listening to the pod, this won't be news to you, because his dad is married to his stepdaughter.
Yes.
Very Jerry Springer. Mm-hmm. Very Jerry Springer.
But if you're rich, it's just,
Still very Jerry Springer.
you know, it's eccentric. Right?
Yeah, it's like they're foreign. Like, he's like from South Africa. And you're like, I think that's still pretty fucking weird.
Yeah, extremely.
They just welcomed in another baby. So now and I think his dad is in his like 70s. So hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's not going to be a mess at all. And I know Elon is not happy about that. So let's go to another guy. How about that? Let's
do it.
Let's talk about the man of the hour.
I'm so excited.
Mr.
Let's go for it.
McMahon. Mr. McMahon. So, as I mentioned in the intro, if you did somehow miss this story, which good for you for being offline, Wall Street Journal did a report where they reported that Mr. Vince McMahon, the CEO, started it all guy from WWE, had paid $12 million to multiple women in hush money for various sexual
Discretions.
instances.
Okay.
Yeah. Things that happen.
Do we know who the women are? Or they're unnamed?
I wasn't able to identify the names of these people, but
Yeah.
they are, I have them labeled as woman 1, woman 2, woman 3, woman 4.
Well, that's how it should be. We shouldn't just be
Yes,
like
exactly. We should be numerical.
out. That's my point. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 point whatever million I am. Not even, actually, billion. Oh. So let's start, I figure we could take it back a little bit because WWE as an organization, a little out there, a little crazy.
Yeah.
It started with...
so fun. I know this guy is a bad guy, but it's so fun.
I mean, I kind of might be now into the WWE. I think I've watched kind of a lot of it at this point over the last couple of days, and I was like,
people like it.
it's pretty good entertainment.
It's popular for a reason.
It's popular for a reason. And it really seems to be across a lot of different demographics, too. Like surprising people watch it.
Yeah.
Like it's not just poor people.
I would say that a lot of comics actually like it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the entertainment is absolutely, like, it's really designed for
It's
it.
hilarious.
The people, WWE, and it's funny to me because it's like, it's theater.
Yeah.
It's very much theater. So
Yeah.
it's basically
It's like a play.
It's basically like if guys watched Broadway. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, totally.
it's like their version of going to Wicked.
Right. And they're just some girl walking around the ring and they're like, we want to see more of that girl's tits.
Yes, we
And
want to
that's
see
it.
Glinda the Good Witch fight.
That's it. Yeah, we want to see whole.
Exactly.
Right.
It's Broadway for men.
So they do like little tours or whatever. I think they come to Brooklyn sometimes. It's the
Probably.
headquarters are in Connecticut, I think.
Famously off of 95,
Yes.
Stamford, Connecticut.
Yes.
If you have ever driven up 95, you will peer to your right when you're really bored driving through Connecticut because it's a hell.
Oh, I fucking
hate that
driving
part of the
through
drive.
Connecticut. Yeah,
it
it's
takes
awful.
forever. And WWE is sitting there proud as hell.
Oh yeah, but I remember when I first moved to New York, I was like not even like casually dating this guy. We just had this like flirty relationship, and then he asked me, he was like, ironically, do you want to go see WWE and like dress up as face paint? And I was like, I would want that more than anything in the world.
That's a really good date.
But then he was like, tickets were like $200 or something
Yeah.
crazy, and I was so fucking broke at the time, and he like. It wasn't like an official date, so he wasn't going to buy my ticket. And I was like, I can't do
That's
something.
fair.
Like at that moment of time in my life, I couldn't do something ironically for that much money.
So you're telling me
I could now.
we should go to WrestleMania. Here we come.
Dude, that'd be
We're
fun.
like, we actually heard about the scandals and now are interested.
Yeah, it'd be great. We should make signs.
Yeah.
Just Me Too signs.
Oh my God.
We would get booed out of that fucking place.
No, actually. I don't know. I think they might be like, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll get into that.
All right.
So going back in time a little bit, like obviously this originated from somewhere. Vince McMahon Sr., who is Vince McMahon's father, shocker. They really just love calling each other. I've never fully understood just giving your name to your son.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird, and they do it a lot, and then it just makes everything confusing at home. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's also very narcissistic. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why only guys do it. There's no May. Like, if I had a daughter, she wouldn't be May Jr.
No, that'd
You
be
know?
weird. Also, by the way, a lot of faith in that kid.
Mm-hmm.
They've got your name. They better show up. What if they're stupid?
Yeah, right?
You're really risking it all.
If it's my kid,
Yeah.
definitely going to be stupid.
Yeah, they're like, May, get back.
Yeah, that is so. And then it has to be like Charlie, little Charlie, big Charlie. It's like,
Yeah, it's a
Nightmare.
pain in the ass. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I think it's going out of vogue. Who knows? I'm not exactly having a lot of kids over here. So, but anyway, he was also an American professional wrestling promoter, and he is best known for running the Capital Wrestling Corporation, which was later named WWWF.
okay,
And
3 W's. Huh.
WWF eventually. It was shortened to. They were like,
Nice.
3 W's, too many W's.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the 2 W's.
Was it Worldwide Wrestling Federation before? Now it's
Yes,
World
exactly.
Wrestling. Okay.
Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and went to World Wrestling Federation during his tenure, and eventually switched to WWE, which I'll talk about. But basically, he was running this. He was a bit of a treat. He had
I love it.
he had 2 kids, the younger son of Victoria and his wife, and then Vince McMahon was his child, obviously.
Who's the main dude?
The Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
The next one.
Vince
Vince
McMahon Jr.
Jr. is the main dude.
Okay.
His senior, R.I.P. I think he's dead at this point. He is. I know that to be true. He was an interesting guy in the fact that he left while Vince was still a baby and took his other son, Rod, with him.
Oh, that's
Which is like
weird.
weird to take the son that doesn't have your name.
Yeah, that is weird.
Like,
I mean, it's weird in general,
the
no
whole
matter
thing
what.
is weird.
But like,
It's weird that he took off, and it's weird that he took a kid and then he grabbed the one that doesn't have his name.
I've never heard of that before. Where like they're like, I'm gonna take this kid and this kid. This one can go to fucking hell.
This one
insane.
you can keep, and I'm out of here. But now, to make it even more complicated, he circled back when Vince was 12.
Yeah,
I
hate
know.
this guy. That's
Yeah.
so fucking awful.
It was kind of a shit show.
You don't say.
Yeah. They were a big Irish family, and blah, blah, blah. This part doesn't matter. You know, they were all of Irish descent. So it was like this very like,
huge probably family, like
yeah,
Irish Catholic.
I'm reading through some of the different like links. There's a lot of mothers and stepfathers and stuff like that. His mother, Vince Jr.'s mother, then started dating other people, obviously, and I think eventually married sounds like a couple guys. One in specific, Leo Lupton, used to beat her and attacked Vince when he tried to protect her.
Oh, that's so sad.
So point is there little tragedy in the background there. He later said, "It is unfortunate that he died before I could kill him because I would have enjoyed that."
Damn.
Yeah, them is fighting words.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either, honestly. I mean, he didn't kill him. He just kind of was like, "I wish I could have."
Right.
And like, that's not illegal.
No,
you
it's not
wish
illegal.
to kill someone. You just shouldn't.
Right.
That's what you shouldn't do. So, Vince is growing up. He has obviously a lot going on at home, but he did meet his wife, Linda, who is quite a character. We'll get into her.
Okay.
And they were devout Catholics. They met at church.
Oh,
which is,
wow.
Okay. So Irish Catholics.
Yeah.
And she was 13 and he was 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
thank God.
appropriate.
Yeah. That's still like, you're both very young. Like, you know,
Right.
maybe don't fuck or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
please.
I don't know. Like, do your thing. But either way, they met. They started dating like pretty soon right after. And they basically stayed together like right after she graduated from high school. They got married.
Wow.
Like pretty fast afterwards.
Wow.
And it was cute. Both of their mothers worked at in the same building. So it was like very tight knit on that sense.
That is cute.
But anyway, Linda did not care. She persisted. They got married, and then they had two children, Shane and their daughter Stephanie, in 1970 and 1976.
Okay.
They moved to Washington, D.C., where Linda became a receptionist at a law firm, and Vince was a traveling salesman at the time. This is where she had the kids, and look at their little picture. They're really cute.
They are really cute.
They look like they're from just the classic, very 70s. Look at the puffy hair.
How old are they in this picture? Because they look fucking old. Like 40s.
I just think that back then we didn't
get Botox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they just look like how you're supposed to look
True.
as you get older. They didn't have the modern science helping them out.
What a disaster. Imagine looking natural.
Yeah.
I can barely stand how I look with all this stuff done.
I know, with all this work. So this was not always easy for them. So like obviously at this point there's like nothing to do with wrestling. They're very much working like normal ass she's paralegal, I guess, assuming something to do with French. Who knows? He is a traveling salesman. I think at one point I read that he was selling cups.
Okay.
And
Lucrative.
At one point they even filed for bankruptcy in 1976.
Oh no.
Yeah, so like they really like had a normal ass life. So normal family, how did they end up getting involved with wrestling?
Please tell me.
Vince Sr., as we know, was a promoter for wrestling, and Vince Jr. had been pestering his dad after he returned into his life, after kind of like
Jesus
ditching him as a
Christ.
child.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, come on, Pop, I love this stuff. Let me work with you. So eventually, one of the promoters in his business in Bangor, Maine, had been caught stealing, which... Being caught stealing, I guess, was pretty much normal for promoters at that point. It was a very shady business.
You mean to tell me promoters aren't great people?
Yeah, what the hell? Especially for fighting.
Yeah.
Back in the, what is this, 80s? Like, no way.
No way.
But apparently it was so much so that they were like, okay, you gotta go at this point. So he was given the opportunity to take over that position, and he did really well. He was growing, he was hustling, he was, going and having a good time at the matches, leaving with money in his pocket, and he was like super pleased about it. He started promoting areas that hadn't been promoted before. And first thing you know, half my dad's business is in New England. So he was making everything grow. And eventually his dad started dying, like he got cancer and was dying of cancer, where he went to the hospital, and they'd had, as you can imagine, a tenuous relationship because of the whole leaving him thing. And
that'll do it.
There was this whole article where he was like, I went to the hospital and I kissed him, and I've always been demonstrative. If I don't like you, I'll tell you. If I love you, male or female, I'll hug you and I say I love you. But my dad was old Irish and didn't show affection. So he went over, kissed him in the hospital, and when he left, he had gotten through the door, and his dad yelled after him, "I love you, Vinny." He
Oh,
didn't
that's
just say
nice.
it, he yelled it. Isn't that sweet?
That is sweet.
Aw. So,
Even though his dad sounded like kind of a piece of fucking shit.
yeah, it was very much like kind of like a cute little like feel good story that I think came out like pretty early on.
Yeah.
And then like things escalated. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So his dad dies. He takes over the business in a bit of a complex fashion, actually, because of just the way everything was set up. So he had to pay a decent amount to fully take it over. But he did. And then he was now in charge of this wrestling company, the WW. How many F it was at the time? I don't even know. And now that he was fully in charge, he could continue to expand it across the regions of the country.
Nice.
Which was like, he was like, what if we did what we're doing, but with more people?
Right.
And his dad was like, hate the
Right.
idea. And
You're
he's
not making any sense.
like, yeah. And he's like, well, now you're dead, so see ya. So as a result of this, everyone hated him because they were like, you're encroaching in our territory.
Interesting.
So Vince was not very popular.
Wait, who's everybody?
The other promoters.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, yeah. The other wrestling promoters were not happy about it. There was one group in particular, the WCW, that was like kind of the main competition. And they were a little bit more like legit, kind of.
They were, but from my memory anyway, from like when my brother used to watch wrestling and stuff, I thought that WWF ended up way better, but then the WCW was kind of like the Walmart version of WWF, like WWF SmackDown. That was like the money maker. Wicked fun. And then WCW like took over all these old guys and tried to like make a new thing, kind of. I don't know.
No, you're totally right. And it was this massive rivalry between the two of them. And there were a couple things that they did. So WWF at that period specifically wanted to become grittier. So they ended up kind of like getting into that like SmackDown and like Raw and like
WWF Raw. And you would get it on pay-per-view.
Like, whoa, okay. What's Raw?
Yeah, WCW.
Human meat? What are you talking about?
Which one had like The Undertaker? Was that WWF?
Wait, is that
That's a wrestler.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay, well,
I
whatever.
should know. There were so
They might have
I will be
ping-ponged
honest.
back and forth.
I tried to look into like a lot of the wrestlers. Fucking a million of them. There are so many wrestlers. It was absolutely impossible, and they all have absolutely bananas storylines, just like out of control. We could absolutely try to
Crazy
do another
people do this.
episode on just wrestlers and their nonsense that they get into, but for now, we focus largely on the company and Vince in specific. So they were like super competitive, and WCW, which was the main competition, was actually owned by Ted Turner, who also owned CNN.
Right.
So there was that whole connection there. And while they were really competitive, they basically were trying to make like the biggest guys possible. So this is around the time where they got hit with steroid claims.
Ooh.
And there was,
claims. I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
I know.
Like accusations that are completely true.
Yes. Yeah. They were like, how dare you
Call us out for something that we're doing.
that we're doing?
Very obviously.
It's really rude of you. But we'll talk more about the steroid claims a little bit later because things get interesting there. However, after some time, just to kind of finish this storyline, WCW, it became like, the more mainstream kind of like chill version. WWE or F took it to another level.
Yeah.
And eventually Vince was able to buy WCW.
Okay.
And bring it all under one umbrella, which kind of
that's
gave
cool.
him like entirely control, which I guess might be considered a monopoly, but I think the regulators are like, listen,
Who cares?
who cares?
It's kind of like, well, this actually is not at all like this. Never mind. But I was going to say, like, there's certain things that people care about and certain things that people don't. And, like, I don't think that anyone would be complaining that there's a monopoly on professional wrestling. And I don't think, like, the same way that no one's complaining that there's not enough, like, women magicians.
Right.
Nobody gives a fuck. Everyone's like, that's embarrassing. We'll keep that to the men.
The people in DC are like, wrestling. No, we're not going to. Just put it in the
Fine.
paper shredder. Like, we never received that memo. Like, it's just move it along.
Yeah.
Move it along. So now Vince Jr. had his entire full control, and he was able to continue to expand it, and he created Wrestlemania. Now, Wrestlemania is like the Super Bowl of wrestling. and apparently it was actually like a huge risk for him to do the first one. And the only reason it really worked was because of our boy Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
This was back in the day. Look at him. He looks great.
Does he?
Not like great in the sense of like attractive, but like that man could fuck you up.
He's shredded.
Shredded.
It's pretty crazy.
It's nuts.
So I don't know anything about steroids, but like, do they actually make you stronger or just appear stronger?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yes, you are physically stronger. That man
Interesting.
could rip clearly a t-shirt apart. This is a picture of him ripping off his t-shirt. But yes, they absolutely do. And
yeah, that's crazy.
And Hulk Hogan actually
so tan.
It's very, very, very tanned. He was a very big part of the success of some of the first 7 of the first 8 Wrestlemanias.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say some of these timelines are like, they have some overlapping, but at one point he ended up going back to WCW and became like Hollywood Hogan or something along those lines.
Oh, interesting.
And that, yeah, you kind of remember that. And
yeah.
it was like a whole big deal. And then he turned into a villain arc. This is part of the reason I was like, I'm not going down the storylines of each one of these wrestlers because it's goddamn exhausting.
Yeah, it's too much.
In terms of the reason that so now just like some quick stats on like how they're doing. They are in 180 countries in 30 languages, can be seen on 1 billion televisions worldwide each week.
What, each week?
Yeah, they've had they create 7 hours of original programming, I think, per week. It's a very, very diverse, as we mentioned, audience group. The tickets are allegedly affordable. Okay,
okay, I thought they were expensive, but maybe
well,
not.
I think that the cheaper ones probably got bought up, but they started as cheap as $15, which is a pretty cheap barrier to entry compared to like the Super Bowl or like, you know, some NFL games and things like that. So people of all different groups could go and participate in this, and who doesn't want to watch people fighting?
Maybe this guy had like box seats or something. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
why
what
were
are
they
you,
so
like ringside?
I don't
Were you
know.
fighting? Were you trying to fight?
He had backstage passes.
Yeah, he's like $200, May. And he's like, she wouldn't pony up. Monday Night Raw is actually the longest running weekly episodic program in the United States with more than 1,400 original episodes.
Are you kidding me? It's still going?
Yeah.
Every week?
It's spanked The Simpsons because they have no seasonality. They just kind of carry on.
Yeah.
They just go.
Yeah. I do love The Simpsons.
Absolutely. But listen, they got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. So The Simpsons, in comparison, they had only put, in that same period, had put forth 669 episodes. So that's less.
Crazy.
And it was also considered family entertainment, which I found was really funny because it's people beating the shit out of each other. It
is, but it so is family entertainment. You all like sit down and watch your fucking
but like maybe that's like why America has some problems. Because
so true.
Like for instance, I pulled up this clip. This is something I had just watched when I read that they had like this as their family entertainment, was literally in one of their business reports.
God, who's Mae Young?
Well, Mae Young is this old 70-some-odd old woman.
Why is she getting her ass kicked?
Check this out.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Why are they doing that to an old lady?
Dudley Boys just threw 70-something-year-old Mae Young through a table.
And here's the thing, like, obviously a lot of this is fake, but at the same time, like,
stretcher just pulling up in case because they're like,
yeah.
Yikes.
But it doesn't, like, they still have to jump really far. You know what I mean? Like, she could get hurt.
Absolutely, she could get hurt. And I think that's a huge part of this. So that's probably actually a good segue.
It's like improv, but if you fuck up your line, the person breaks their neck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The person is crippled for the rest of their life or gets CTE, which we'll talk about.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
And then finally, the WWE, as you noted, goes all over the place. Like, it's on the road 300 days a year. These guys are moving. And now they're
300 days out of the year?
Yeah, they are cruising around the country.
It's the same characters?
I mean, they
Like
have a
the
pretty
majority?
big cast of characters, so I'm sure there's a lot of complexity as to who's going where at what
But
time.
damn, that is some travel.
And I'm sure like the bigger guys go to the bigger cities or
Right,
something
right.
along those lines. But like, point is like, it's a very big operation. And
yeah.
now they're on like TikTok and all sorts of social media. They're doing really well there. I'm actually kind of curious how that'll impact them long term, because they have been doing better over the last 3 years. They had like a dip for a while, and then they started to return, and then 2020 hit and all things like that. But in their last 3-year financial statements, they started doing better. And I'm like, I wonder if social media seems like the very obvious place to like see a woman get thrown through a table and just be like, whoa, all right. Yeah, I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to check out another one of those.
It's just such a weird interest to have.
Yeah. So obviously they have to find, like you just noted, these wrestlers who are really highly trained to not murder one another just all the time. And they actually take them down to this training center in Orlando, Florida. Of course.
Of course.
Of course it's in Orlando, Florida.
I would have guessed Tampa, to be fair.
I think they have another one in Tampa.
Sure they do.
It's absolutely a Florida
Operation.
operation.
Definitely.
100%. So these guys are down there, they're training, and basically the way they do it is WWE has hundreds of people in their roster. They like kind of choose the characters to level up, and it's not by who's the best wrestler or who's the best at like athleticism. It's who's the best entertainer. And they're very open about that, which I thought was like kind of cool. They were like, it doesn't matter how big you are, like if you can put on a show,
Yeah.
that's the point. We want
Right.
the crowd to be engaged and excited.
That's fun.
It is kind of fun. They also help them develop their characters. Now, I did not know this. So Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
Yes.
he's obviously an unbelievable superstar.
Yeah.
Like, isn't he like one of the biggest, like if not the biggest?
I would think, yeah.
Like it's like pretty fucking like
It's so weird that his catchphrase was, "Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?" I'm like, what are you, a chef?
what is The Rock ever cooking?
What are you cooking? Where's your kitchen?
Your
Right?
name is also The Rock. It's not like formerly. It's
Yeah,
not like it's not like
George Foreman or
Yeah.
something. Was he a wrestler? No, he's a boxer.
No,
Yeah.
Dwayne. Oh yeah, George
George
Foreman
Foreman
was a boxer.
yeah.
It is interesting how many of those like guys from back then, like they came out of this fighting like industry. But yeah, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, because he developed his rock persona under the WWE or F or whatever it was at that point, every single one of his deals has to be reviewed by them.
Oh my god.
I know.
Are you kidding me? Even
No.
now?
Yeah.
Like for movie
I
deals?
mean, unless they've like no, like everything.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
I know.
A lot of people think he's really hot. He does not do it
It
for
does
me.
not do it for me.
It is just not my thing. My friend Bryn goes nuts over him. But she also loves like Jason Momoa, so I think she likes just like giant men.
Yeah. Jason Momoa, I get
like a
it.
nice medium-sized man. You know?
I like a medium large.
Yeah, you like a medium large.
Not too large though. Not a Jason Momoa, I get it. The Rock,
Yeah.
I don't get it. You know
No,
what I
he's
mean?
not. I don't know. He's confident.
Yeah, I mean he seems cool, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'd love to hang with him. Sounds like
Yeah.
but I'm all set.
Right.
Actually, I mean, let's
He
be
seems like somebody who listens to too much Tony Robbins. You know what I mean? Like he's very like rise and grinds. Like here I am at the gym at 4:00 in the morning. It's like, come on,
I just had 8 raw eggs. It's like, but why?
just take it easy.
Just
you
cook
know what I
'em.
mean?
You know,
yeah,
it's
just
fine.
enjoy yourself for once.
It's
you
gonna
know,
be all right.
right? Guy works hard.
Yeah, he does work hard, and I mean, he's made a shit ton of money, and in combination with him, the WWE has made a lot of money because of his IP. Here's bunch more stats. Basically, they're crushing on every different media page you can imagine. You know, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Over 1.8 million subscribers. Didn't know that was a function of Snapchat. That
Me
goes
neither.
to show how little I know about that kind of thing.
Dude, fuck Snapchat.
That came and went. I thought.
I thought so because I just can't deal with another platform.
I haven't had that on my. I don't have it like even downloaded as an app.
Yeah.
We had it briefly. I feel like there was a year and a half in college where we were all like, we're Snapchatting, and we're like, no, we're not.
Right,
We're done.
exactly.
We're done. And we're done.
I've heard talk that TikTok's on its way out, I guess, and I'm like, I don't care. I cannot deal. If there's something else that emerges, I am not going to participate. I don't fucking care.
Have you seen that one where you have to do? It's Be Real.
Be Real?
Be Real, where it's basically gives you a countdown and whatever. It's like you have to like take a picture of whatever you're doing at that exact moment in the app.
That'd be fucking boring. I would just be
Yeah,
like
I mean, it'd be like
eating
just
on
a
the
lot of me
couch.
sitting on the computer.
Yeah, it's like, here I am working.
Yeah, I'm doing my job. What do you think? Being real. I'm looking
Yeah.
up things about the WWE. What do you think?
That would be, I would have the most boring Be Real ever. Like, ever.
I want to know what these kids, and they like it.
That's so weird.
What are you up to? It's just them just
might-
driving. Yeah,
You might
that's
occasionally catch me masturbating or something.
Yeah,
That's
being real.
Being real.
Or maybe WWE will get on Be Real soon. But right now, yeah, they're on TikTok. They're crushing there as well. And they have reality shows as well. So
They do?
They do.
my God,
really
that's awesome.
basically anything you can do, the WWE has decided to do.
Good for them.
They're doubling and tripling down.
That would be the funnest fucking job. Just like managing these little projects that they have, like doing something like I'm in the reality TV for the WWE.
Yeah, well, they have the show Total Divas, which
Oh,
is on
yeah.
E.
I've never watched it, but I have seen previews for it.
Yeah,
Just like wicked hot, ripped ladies, and
Yep.
they're arguing.
yelling at each
with
other.
each other.
Perfect. That's absolutely. It's like it's basically like any of the Real Housewives, but like with muscles.
Yeah, with like crazy
It's
muscles
fucking great.
and like super gaudy outfits that
Absolutely
they're busting
amazing.
out of. Yeah,
It's perfect.
in Tampa.
Yeah.
Vanderpump. There we go. I love it.
So that's kind of like where they're at. They're obviously doing, they've gone up and down, but they're doing pretty well. So
Yeah.
let's go through some of the scandals in more detail.
Let's
start
do it.
with one that we've already alluded to. Obviously, we look at this picture of Hulk Hogan. This is not a man built in the gym and off of Eggways and all the different whites or whatever the hell. Like,
It's not.
no, this man was built in a laboratory. This man
Yeah.
was created by science, which is kind of fun. Which is kind of fun in its own way.
Yeah, it's like a Frankenstein.
It is. But also, yeah. I love how the WWE, though, was like, absolutely not. We definitely don't endorse steroids here.
Oh, come on.
Hulk Hogan admitted under oath that 80% of the McMahon's wrestlers were using steroids.
Oh, no.
So that was tough for him. And that McMahon himself was on steroids. Which, let's just go back up to that intro picture we had. No shit.
Yeah.
No shit. This man
the
has
guy-
the tiniest head I've ever seen in my life.
And he looks like he's like at least in his 50s in that photo. And like men in their 50s do not get dick vein on their arm like that.
No, absolutely not. Looks like G.I.
Here's
Joe.
what I don't understand about
G.I.
steroids
Vince.
too is like what woman is attracted to that? You know what I mean?
Linda
I guess
was
so.
into it.
I am so
This
not
lady.
into that.
No.
I just want a normal looking person. I would rather a dad bod than a steroid bod for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Also,
And is
like,
it
they're
true
gonna
that
die.
their dicks get small? Is that true?
I think their balls get small.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely bad for you. Especially back then. It was like, those were like V1 of steroids.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? You don't want to like, come on.
So they're like injecting themselves with these steroids. I guess, right?
I guess. I didn't ask.
I'm like, do you eat them?
yeah, I don't think it's like a edibles situation.
Yeah.
So he had admitted to that. And in 1994, there was a criminal court case brought against Vince McMahon, who was at that point chairman of World Wrestling Federation, on suspicion of supplying them to his professional wrestlers. So basically being like, you have, first of all, these are illegal. Step one. Step two, you're making your wrestlers take them,
Yeah.
basically. And he was like, who said that?
So did this like sever his relationship with Hulk Hogan? Was he wicked pissed about that?
They definitely continued to work together, at least to some degree afterwards.
okay.
So
I mean, if he's under oath, he's like, I can't lie. They probably have information.
exactly.
You know.
11 wrestlers, including Hogan, were called to testify by the prosecution. And actually, I think this is why the relationship didn't go too awry. No other wrestlers called to the stand attested that McMahon had supplied them with steroids, apart from Nails. Nails is another guy.
Okay.
There's too many of them.
Sure.
Nails claimed that McMahon had pressured him into taking steroids to make him bigger. However, McMahon's defense attorney argued that Nails was a hostile witness as he had been fired from the WWF previously and was disgruntled and looking for revenge.
Yeah.
He also he contradicted himself during the trial, apparently saying that he had no animosity towards Vince, but then that he hated him, which is like, well, that makes in the court of law, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So Vince was acquitted, and basically they were like, hey, just like do some drug testing out there. And he was like, Yeah, we'll totally do
In a year.
Yeah, we'll totally do that. We're totally going to start testing them for steroids. So they temporarily avoided the issue. It comes back around, though. I watched this interview on CNN about it, where basically they were talking about, like, you guys are always looking for bigger people. Like, obviously everyone in your ring is doped up to an extent. Like, it's pretty obvious. And Vince is saying, hey, no, it has more to do with your face and, like, your personality and the entertainment value.
Okay,
bullshit.
Sure.
And then he also was saying that implementing a steroid testing policy wasn't financially viable, which compared to USADA, turn up, they're the U.S. anti-doping agency, and that's the group that would go and test all the athletes for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And they are hardcore. Holy shit. I've told you my stories about USADA?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of peeing in cups. Peeing in cups
In
as a
front of
child.
people.
In front of people, a lot. It's kind of weird looking back on it. So compared to USADA, they didn't have any of that. Their first offense was you just got a warning if you tested positive. They were just like, don't. We said no.
We asked you nicely.
We said don't do that, even though we gave it to you.
Hey, cut it out.
Cut it out. Their second offense was a 30-day suspension. So that's like
It's
a
not
nice
even that
vacation.
bad. Yeah,
Go
exactly.
take a trip. Go to Europe.
Sounds
Go to Italy for a
lovely.
month.
Sounds great.
Have a little treat. It wasn't until you did that 4 times that you got terminated. And
Jesus.
the loophole was if you had a prescription, you were clean.
Oh my God, so you could just get prescribed steroids.
Yeah. You had to just convince any doctor in the United States to subscribe you something, which, like, is pretty easy to do.
Pretty easy to do.
You can absolutely, especially if you're in the WWE,
You're gonna find someone.
You're gonna find someone. So an enormous loophole for these men to hop through, which they did. Eventually, they actually got a little bit more intense about it, and they actually hired the guy from the NFL to run their random testing program, so it got more intense. As a result, I think the people that you're seeing now are a little less boosted up as they were back then.
Okay.
Than they were back then.
I don't know.
I'm sure they're on just more complex stuff and things like whatever.
Okay.
We will revisit this steroids thing one more time in a minute, and it'll be sad. But first, we're going to talk about something really, really funny. And this is one of the things I remember the most from my childhood in relation to the Wrestling Foundation is in 2002, they famously had it out with the World Wildlife Fund, which is a panda bear. They went man to bear.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So World Wildlife Fund was like, hey, guys, we are WWF. How dare?
Yeah, we are 2 separate organizations by a lot.
Really tampering with our brand over here.
Yeah.
And the World Wrestling Foundation was like, what are you talking about? No. So they had to eventually change the name because the World Wildlife Fund is, had a little bit more public support. Plus, they actually had it before them, too.
Right.
They just hadn't enforced it when they originally changed it. So I thought this was pretty funny. They decided to actually embrace the fact that they were moving on and, like, rebranding as WWE. And their whole catchphrase for that year was, get the F out of here.
Get the F out.
Get the F out.
That's hilarious.
And so they became the WWE, keeping their old attitude and moving in a new direction, which was panda free. No
Amazing.
pandas. So more highlights of McMahon. He got really involved with the WWE. For instance, like, he was frequently in the ring, like, famously in the ring a lot. Like, he wasn't fighting, but he'd, like, go be a character in there.
Yeah.
He had this thing called the Kiss My Ass Club, in which he inducted several WWE talents and later forced them to kneel and literally kiss his ass.
Okay, let's see this.
Watch.
That's kind of iconic, honestly.
I mean, that's a power move, as they call it.
Oh my God, like his bare ass.
This is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Vince McMahon has lowered his pants. I thought it would be a kiss over the pants.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But instead, he is belt down.
Oh my God, what is going on? Look at those tighty whities. What is it, chapstick?
I think he just gave him lip.
Chapstick. I mean, this is entertainment. I gotta
Like,
say.
come on. How can you not?
Oh my God. Wrestling is pretty gay. Can we say that?
Absolutely.
It's pretty homoerotic.
It's very homoerotic. If I were a guy hanging out with a new guy friend and he asked me to go wrestling or to a wrestling match, I'd be like, listening.
Yeah. We can just fuck at home. You know?
Yeah, like, it's fine. Like, I don't know. Those tickets are kind of expensive.
I love this drawn out thing. Where
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
Now chewing gum.
He's chewing gum. He put on chapstick. So he's super involved in the show. He became a meme quite a few times. There were a lot of memes of Vince McMahon.
Really?
For instance, this one. This was his.
That's really
We'll put
funny.
this on the Instagram. It's very difficult to describe it out loud, but a combination of his face getting progressively more intense.
That's really funny.
And then, now to more serious things. In 2006, he made news after an employee in Boca Raton, Florida, at a tanning salon accused him of groping her, according to a police report. The employee told police that Mr. McMahon showed her nude photos of himself on his phone and then tried to kiss her.
Yikes.
And then Vince told them he was just trying to have a little fun.
Oh, good.
This is the 2000s for you. He's
That's
like, hey
so
guys,
ridiculous.
I'm trying to just like kind
Oh
of,
my God.
be me.
It's just flirting, right? To show people my
Yeah.
naked cock. Like,
And this woman, and freshly tanned. Like he had just gotten out of a tanning booth.
oh my
Also
God.
admitting that he went into a tanning booth. Very weird on all accounts.
I mean, obviously, look how he's fucking yoked and wicked tan.
Poor guy, he's going to die of skin cancer. Well, he told them that he denied any wrongdoing, and they were like, we're not going to bother filing charges. But either way, that kind of came around.
Okay.
He does a few more stunts, a lot more stunts, but one in specific was a really interesting timed one. He faked his own death.
What?
Because that's just the kind of guy he is. So for instance, let's watch this quick video. So this is Vince getting into his limousine. All is well. Just off, heading out to after a good day at the World Wrestling Entertainment Center.
Does it crash or something?
Oh no.
Does it blow up?
Just wait. So he's closing the door. Oh!
Oh my God. This is
That's
so
so
ridiculous.
hardcore, guys. Okay, the limousine didn't just blow up. Like, did they douse it in gasoline?
I guess so. This is so.
I don't know how they pulled this stunt off, to be honest.
Well, I mean, obviously he went out the other door on the other side and then was like on the other
guess.
side of the.
you should start designing
I should start
stunts.
yeah, I'm
Sounds like
so
you've got
smart.
another career path. You're like, listen, there are 2 doors. Sweetheart, there's a door on the other side he could run over to. And I'm like, he's in the car.
Laura's one of these people that would be like, it's real. I swear to God, wrestling's real.
I'd go there the whole time. I'd have like 2 beers and be like, oh no.
Vince McMahon died.
Vince is dead. Well, apparently a lot of people, again, this is 2007, so I think people are like still a little like stupid.
Come on, dude.
This was 15 years ago. Remember when they had that magician on?
Chris Angel.
Chris Angel.
Yes.
And everyone was always like, yo.
Dude, that was fucking, I don't know how he did those
We don't know
things,
how he
though.
did it, but I feel like nowadays we'd immediately have a TikTok explaining it. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
45 seconds after the stunt, people would be like, this is how he did it.
Okay,
You'd be like, oh,
genuine. Okay, seriously though, fucking like David Blaine, how the
I don't
fuck
know.
does he sit in those water tanks for like 2 days? I don't get it.
Did I tell you?
I need to know. I don't get it.
I really couldn't tell you.
I don't understand. You know that my friend met him on a plane? So
But did she?
So her and I were in Boston for like 2 seconds for our friend's bridal shower, and she was on a different flight home than me, and she texts me from the flight. It's her and David Blaine in first class.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she got like bumped up or whatever, and then they were like, here's your seat, miss, and she was like, David Blaine? And she was like, and then he did all these card tricks for me.
Oh, wait, that's really nice of him.
I know.
He is working for free. Don't sell your stuff for free, David. That's good. You should charge her. But anyway, so Vince over here is pulling stunts. He faked his own death in a limousine explosion. This was 2007.
Okay.
And it was so authentic that apparently eventually U.S. President Donald Trump, not at that point, who had just feuded in another feud line with him, which I'll show you in a minute, which is fucking hilarious, thought his friend had actually been killed and had to call them up and was like, did something happen to Vince?
Oh my God.
They
This
were like,
is the
"Nah, dude."
president of the country, of the free world.
And they were like, bro, no, yeah, he's fine. Believe it or not, we didn't film his limousine blowing up. You stupid piece of shit. So this happened on June 11th, 2007. WWE aired this segment at the end of Raw, blah, blah, blah. They went through the storyline of him being dead and that he wanted to see, who was going to mourn his death for real. Sure. Now, the timing of this got a little unfortunate because cut to June 22nd, 2007 through 24th, 2007. This is a very sad story. Chris Benoit.
Oh, yeah. Big one. This is
really bad.
Crazy story.
Really bad. So this one I was like, I'm not going to dwell on it too long because it's not funny at all. Over a 3-day period, Chris Benoit, he was pretty high up there, 40-year-old Canadian professional wrestler employed by WWE, murdered his wife Nancy and their 7-year-old son Daniel, and then hung himself
on their Bowflex or something like that, right?
On his pull down, like lat pull down machine. Mm-hmm. Yikes! They found them a few days later, wrapped in a towel with like blood everywhere and stuff like that. And his son had been choked to death, which was really sad.
Oof.
So
it's a doozy. Yeah. And apparently, I mean, I just know this story from some true crime podcast I listen to, but apparently people described him before as like being like the sweetest guy. Like no one would see this coming.
Yeah, I watched a short documentary on it, and it was definitely a result of some injuries that he had. But the timing of this is really interesting. Where June 22nd through 24th that happens, they find out about it, and Raw was scheduled to be a memorial to him on the 25th.
Memorial to him?
No. Wait, because they didn't know.
Oh, okay.
So Vince has just killed himself. He's like, oh, fuck. Ooh. One of my big guys just died, killed himself. He comes back out. He's still like in his fake world dead. Yeah. But like does this whole memorial service on the 25th, like in honor of Chris Benoit, who at that point they didn't know
had murdered his wife and child.
Was a really fucked up guy. 3-hour time slot. Then the next day they find out about this, and he goes and is like, never mind. So due to the circumstances becoming apparent, the show would be donated to the people affected by the murders and stuff like that. Really changed the tone.
Yeah, sorry for laughing, but yes.
No, I know it's really like it's so horrifying, and he of course was in his fake death scenario.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Exact same time.
Ooh, that's weird.
Yikes.
So he just like came back from the dead.
Yeah, to be like, hey, this is going on. And then the next day he was like, hey, that escalated. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
All right. Then he went back to being dead for a while and came back in August.
Oh my gosh.
So Chris Benoit was not that kind of guy. One of his like signature moves was to jump up high in the air and headbutt people on the ground. Obviously bad for your head.
Yeah.
And so he had insane amounts of chronic traumatic I can't say that word. CTE, as we call it.
Do not put your kids in football, everybody, please.
Put your kids in anything that could hit their heads. Like helmet at all times, apparently.
Yeah, all times. Even if you're walking down the street, you get hit in the head all the time.
I do.
Once, famously.
I've had multiple concussions. I'm kind of like, do I have CTE?
Next time you're in a bad mood, I'll be like, oh boy.
This is it.
She's fucking crazy.
I am. I don't think it's due to the concussions, but maybe. Well, it's a fun thing to blame it on. So point is, they examined his brain, and it was like really bad. It was really, really bad.
It's crazy that they can see it in the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
So that brought up another whole slew. And as I mentioned earlier, they hired the NFL guy. This is all kind of around the same time where they were like, hey, we need to start taking the health of these wrestlers a little bit more seriously.
How
And
dare
then they
they?
were like, maybe, but what if we didn't? So now let's go and switch to a different line of subject of scandals. This has to do with our boy Trump. So he is tight with this family. Let me tell you that. He was
That's
frequently
so funny.
featured in like different, like the Battle of the Billionaires match was between, like he had a guy representing him. Bobby Lashley was on Trump's team. Umaga was with Vince McMahon, so they fighted. And the stipulation was hair versus hair. Nope, it's exactly what you're thinking. Bobby Lashley won the match, and eventually Donald Trump won the whole thing. And
God.
as a reward, Donald Trump, who will eventually be president of the United States, he is brandishing, is the only way I can describe it, brandishing
Oh my God, he is.
a razor, an electric razor, and they are shaving Vince McMahon's head.
And Vince McMahon is freaking out as though they're electrocuting him. Like, fucking relax.
Yeah, I mean, he's a showman.
Oh my God.
It's pretty great. Honestly, this is great television. I don't know what to tell you.
the fact that
He's
that
like,
Donald Trump was the president after this is so fucking funny. Like, what is this country? What is this country?
look at him grinning. Look at him having
He's
the
so-
time of
with
his
his
life.
Stupid fake teeth.
They're really getting in there.
I
They're
know,
pretty
he's
thorough.
actually doing a pretty good job. He's like not missing
I'm like,
any
alternate
spots.
career?
Yeah. Too bad he didn't just become a barber.
I know.
Just retire and become like a really good barber.
I mean, this is a delight. Come on.
This is so funny. Oh my God. This reminds me of one time in middle school, our
Uh-oh.
our principal did some like challenge that like if everybody went to the book fair and like read a certain amount of chapters or whatever, that we could shave his head. And I was like, why the fuck would we want to do that?
Yeah.
And then-
was it in 2007?
Maybe it was. Well, no, because I would be
Oh, no,
17.
2000.
No, wait.
No, this was 2011. WrestleMania 23.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd be
Do you
too
think he
old.
just like, wow, okay.
But
damn.
yeah, but that's
He watched this and was like, I'm going to take it to the school.
yeah, and I remember like we watched him get his head shaved, and then we all lined up and we all like rubbed his head. It was so. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. This is not some weird fever dream I had. I thought it was so fucking weird.
I mean, that is really fucking weird.
Like, why would that interest us? I mean, we did the challenge.
but I mean, did you read?
I did. Yeah,
There you
we
go.
did the challenge. We
Mission
completed the
accomplished.
challenge.
Mission
but
accomplished. Joke's
listen,
on you.
I guess all teachers should do that. You could do your homework and I'll shave my fucking head. And the kids are like, why on
Why-
earth do we think we want
Why are you
see
just
that?
getting free hair cutting services from us?
so
Just go to the
bizarre.
hairdresser. So Vince McMahon continues to play fight with Donald Trump. At one point, he buys Raw and sells Raw back and forth. Blah blah blah. You can see them; they're
Oh my
amigos. This is only important because Linda McMahon. Now, Linda is his wife, as we
Okay.
know. They've been together since she was 13, which, wow. And Vince, like, his
Yeah.
whole thing is, like, kind of like playing a bad guy. To
Are
an
they still
extent.
together?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So he plays a bad husband. He plays a philanderer on air, and he admits to having affairs all the time. And
That's fucking annoying.
he even did an interview with Playboy where he was like, "Oh, it's not worth it. It just causes too much drama." Blah blah blah. So like, it was kind of like very well known. Now, meanwhile, she even was like in on it. So she was CEO of the company for a while.
Okay.
And like all their family is somehow tangentially involved in management at the WWE.
it's a lot of jobs.
There's a lot of jobs. So in WrestleMania 17, which a lot of people say is the best WrestleMania that ever occurred, there was a well-known storyline in which Vince was in the midst of a rivalry against his own family because of being like a bad husband or whatever.
Oh.
And he battled his son Shane with his wife Linda sitting in her son's corner.
Oh my
And in
gosh.
this like fake scenario they had created, Linda was so shocked at this sudden attempt of divorce that Vince had put forward
Yeah.
that she was in a wheelchair.
Oh my God.
So they wheeled. We got another video, guys. This is really a video heavy one.
yeah.
So at this point, we can see Vince and Shane
Oh.
fighting over here in the corner.
I love how Linda's just
And
like
Linda
this
just
old lady
stood
too.
up from her wheelchair and kicks him squarely in the nuts.
Oh my God.
This is a family.
Oh my God, that looked like it really hurt.
Yeah. So point is, Linda was certainly involved in the WWE.
I love that she's wearing like a Hillary Clinton pantsuit.
Yeah, well,
in the middle of WrestleMania.
There might
like, Linda, let's turn it up a notch.
Linda, yeah, maybe a dress. We don't know.
A dress, yeah.
No, part of the reason she was in a pantsuit is because she got into politics.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not kidding.
God. Did she win?
It gets worse. So she ran for Connecticut state senator as a Republican. Shocker.
Wow, I did not see that part coming.
Yeah, surprise. So she ran for Senate, and she lost eventually to the Democrat there because hello. But either way, then she one of the reasons that she lost in this very, very vicious campaign, she actually did get ran for the seat for the Republicans, so she won like the
Republican primaries
for Connecticut.
Wow, that's actually very impressive.
I know. But former wrestling superstar Billy Graham became an outspoken critic of her campaign in the middle of it, saying that they were hypocrites for toning down the violence and sexuality in wrestling after many years of showing adult themes. So he launched internet videos just saying like, hey, you guys are like taking this like thing that you had created and like trying to make it like super PG just to, win this Senate race. Like, you're being hypocrites in that sense.
Okay, yeah.
And he was super pissed because Billy Graham had contracted hepatitis C from another wrestler's blood during his time in the WWE and required a life-saving liver transplant as a result.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How does one acquire hepatitis C? Like,
I'm guessing blood to blood would do it. And like if you're fighting like that, like
right.
Or they fuck.
Holy shit.
One or
they fucked,
Or
yeah.
they fucked, yeah, one of the
but
other.
Wow, that's really crazy.
I know.
That sucks. Because you would think they would get tested for things like that and not allow somebody with like HIV or.
And that was kind of his point, is like they were causing these guys to go and do all this crazy stuff for entertainment and ultimately them to make money.
Right.
And the wrestlers made money too, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Not really. And then afterwards they received no pension and no health care after their wrestling careers were finished.
Oh my God.
And like, listen, I understand exactly. Like, it's a sport where it's like, no, like they certainly are going to need that because their brains are busted.
Yes. And their bodies are busted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So very much. So he was pretty impactful in getting her to lose that race. And then she ran again and she lost to another Democrat back in 2012. However, in 2016, guess who gets in power?
Donald
Your
Trump.
boy Donald Trump became the president. And in this period, he brought her. He was like, hey, remember when I shaved your husband's head? Hey, because I remember that. So now do you want to run the Small Business Administration?
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Quite literally, she was put in charge of the Small Business Administration during the Trump administration.
I mean, honestly, she does have a lot of experience running a business. It just happens
Not a small one.
No, not a small one. And it's like huge it's only entertainment business, not like real actual.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one could argue, but yeah.
All right. So she was a good candidate.
Yeah. Anyway, she's the best candidate I've ever fucking seen.
Listen, she's qualified is what we're trying to say. Yeah. So she became obviously pretty involved in that whole whatever that was, whatever those years were. And actually in 2019, she resigned from being the leader of the Small Business Administration to instead go and run America First Action, a pro-Trump super PAC.
Great.
So she was like in charge of a lot of his re-election campaign stuff.
Hey.
And I can't imagine that was chill.
No.
So now we're at the scandal. So we've covered quite a few scandals.
We've had fun.
We've had fun. And now we're at the scandal that you may have seen recently. And in comparison, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of boring.
Seriously?
I mean, it's like not boring, but it's like comparatively. I'm like, no one's head got shaved in this. Well, maybe we'll find out.
It's not the worst
later.
thing that could happen, I don't think.
That's true. So the Wall Street Journal had an article come out in June where basically they revealed that he had paid off $12 million to 4 different women because of unscrupulous.
Feels low divided by 4.
Right.
You know what I mean? This guy's got a lot of cash.
These girls need better negotiating skills.
Yeah, they do.
That's what I'm trying to say. So there was a couple different scenarios of various, like, unsettlingness. One of the first ones where he had paid $7.5 million to a former wrestler who said that he had coerced her into giving him oral sex and then demoted her and ultimately declined to renew her contract after she resisted further sexual encounters.
Damn, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
That sucks.
Especially like she's a wrestler. Like,
yeah,
where else do you wrestle?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
when do you go to, where are you going to go?
Right. There's no like alternative that you could make anywhere close to the amount of money.
Not that it's like, would be okay, by the way, if there were alternates. Like, you should still not do that. So she had, I know.
Especially oral sex. I would just be like, how do you know I'm not going to bite off your dick?
Yeah. Well, because she was like, well, I mean, he's not going to do that. I'm going to at least get a bonus. And instead he was like demoted. Like, that sucks.
That sucks.
So they approached in 2018, negotiated the payment. She got $7.5 million. So good for her.
All right, that's not bad.
That someone had a goddamn lawyer with some sense. Then they also, apparently a contractor presented with, was sent unsolicited nude photos of him.
Oh my God.
And said that he had sexually harassed her on the job.
Jesus.
He agreed to pay her roughly $1 million to not talk about that anymore.
Well, at least she didn't have to blow him.
Yeah, I was like, of the ones, I'm like, that's...
Yeah. I'll receive some photos. I don't give a shit,
that's like, all right. I mean, I don't do that. Obviously, he's the CEO of the company.
Right.
Like, bad.
I would prefer not to
But the oral sex one, worse. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
And $7.5 million versus $1. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was one where the former manager who had worked 10 years for Mr. McMahon before he allegedly initiated a sexual relationship with her was paid $1 million to keep quiet about it. So that one's pretty straightforward. They worked together.
Yeah.
He wanted to fuck her. They did. And then he paid her to just be quiet.
Interesting.
Yep. So, and what's interesting is that these are all happening in parallel. This man needs to... I
thought with steroids that you weren't horny anymore.
I know.
Right?
Well, maybe he got off them at some point or something and was
guess.
like, whoa.
He had a bunch of pent up
horniness. Things to figure out. And then probably the most complicated one that you might hear the most about was this former paralegal who was paid $3 million. She was brought in to the company as the legal assistant in 2019. She had never applied for the job, but he had met her in Stamford, Connecticut, and at their condo building where they both were living.
What?
So he brought her in because she said she had attended law school. I think they're trying to insinuate that she wasn't qualified for the position, but don't want to outright say it.
Right.
Like the Wall Street Journal's like, she's
she's not past the bar yet.
Tiptoeing around, like trying to say a thing, but also they're like, but she was really wonderful. She's great.
Okay.
And apparently the woman often talked with the colleagues in her department about her very close relationship with Vince. And so frequently that her boss had asked her to stop doing so, saying she was making people uncomfortable. So this lady's kind of interesting. She basically got plucked out of this condo building in Stamford and then was bragging about how close she was with the boss.
How does she live in the same apartment building as a billionaire? No
idea. And this story is pretty recent, so I'm guessing we'll probably hear more about who this person is like in later times.
Yeah.
In 2021, the woman transferred from the legal department to talent relations, where she worked under Mr. Laurinaitis, who is Johnny Ace, who's another one of the wrestlers.
Okay.
It doesn't, there's a million of them. but he was a big...
I'm sure that means something to someone listening.
Someone listening will know who Johnny Ace is. So he was former wrestler, had been brought in to be in the management. The WWE considered raising the woman's salary from $100K to around $300K. And according to people familiar with the matter, and then they ended up settling on $200K. And eventually they got an anonymous email saying that... they had increased her salary after he began a sexual relationship with her.
Oh.
And then that he eventually transferred her to Mr. Johnny Ace so that he could begin a sexual relationship with her. Yikes. Yeah. So the board is looking at a $1.5 million non-disclosure agreement that was reached around this with an employee involved with Johnny Ace. And he was demoted in response to this back in 2012 when this all happened. They're like, why did he get demoted then? What was this payment? What's going on with this lady? You know, and that's kind of like the rumor around the whole thing. Like a lot of this is obviously alleged because this came out a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So what are they going to do in response to all this? This comes out. It's a bombshell. Let me tell you that. And thankfully for the McMahon family, unthankfully for everyone else involved, including, by the way, this is a public company.
Oh, really?
This is a real company, like with shareholders and shit.
Interesting.
So his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, was immediately put in as CEO, interim CEO and interim chairwoman. Vince stepped down as CEO, and I think that was the headline, but he's like still in the company and he's very much in control. He's now running the talent relationship component, or like the storyline side of everything.
He's pretty creative.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it.
Give him that.
And even after this story broke, he showed back up on Friday Night SmackDown and addressed the crowd right away.
Shut up.
I'm like dead serious. Like, so like 4 days later, he shows back up on TV.
Oh my God, he looks so much older than those other clips. I mean, he is so much older, but you know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, so he goes up, he addresses the crowd, and like the crowd is cheering for him.
Yeah, they are.
Like they're pretty excited that he's there. Allegedly, there were some people booing, but for the most part, they're like fully in support of him. Like this guy's reaching out for a high five.
Jeez.
This guy's all... Ooh.
And it's not like any person there hadn't heard about that.
No, they absolutely knew about it, for sure. Allegedly, he returned to like the back room and he said, fuck them all, let's put on a show. And so he is not remorseful for the whole thing.
Good. That's good. That's what you like to hear.
Absolutely. So what else? Like now, obviously, this is still ongoing. There's more stuff coming out around it, like what's happening in real life. Like he stepped down as CEO, but this is a public company. Is he going to get removed? The answer is probably not. And the reason is because the board is largely made up of his family.
True.
So he's aboard as the chairman, who has now been replaced by his daughter, Stephanie, who was also on the board. Paul Levesque was her husband, is on the board, who used to be I think also a wrestler. They're all interlinked.
Right.
And the company's president, who's not a member of the family, is also on the board. So he's involved in the management, but he's not on the board. Usually boards are like made of like third parties that just invested.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is very unusual.
I love how everyone on this board has CTE.
Yeah. They're all like, we don't remember what happened, actually.
Yeah.
We have no idea. And point is, basically, it'd be very, very difficult for them to fire him because he is related to a lot of them. So this is like Succession, but like, again, Jerry Springer version.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. That should be a show. That would be an amazing show. A quick question about CTE. Can you like recover from it? Does your brain like rejuvenate itself, or are you just fucked for life?
I think you're fucked.
Wow.
At least at this stage. I'm sure eventually they'll probably figure out like ways to help heal it. Maybe.
I mean, your brain is a complicated thing, obviously.
Ooh, yeah. So I wouldn't recommend. He also got dropped by Netflix, where Netflix was putting together a documentary on his life, and then they were like, there was a source that said, that shit's out of here, even though they'd already shot it. So they put so much money into it and decided to drop that project.
Wow.
I've already talked about, he has no intention of stepping down. The stocks actually ended up going up when this all went down, which is they went up about 13%.
That's weird.
Yeah. But probably because of other factors. There's a lot going on in the stock market right now. And the one last thing that I'll leave you with is, even if everyone decides they want to get rid of Vince because of this whole thing, it will be borderline impossible because of the shares that he holds are like Class B shares, which provides him 81% of the combined voting power of WWE's common stock. So even though it's a public company, it's like they're not getting him out of there.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very hard to do so.
Interesting.
And in last year's annual report, he actually had it written in that it would be a material risk to fire specifically him because he was so integral to the creation of the WWE brand and the storylines and everything that went in with it.
All right, well.
Which is pretty ballsy.
Yeah, it is.
Can you imagine you were just like, you shouldn't fire me because I'm good.
What a psychopath. I feel like I would be like, listen, I got caught doing a bunch of weird stuff. I'm just gonna fade out and like go take some vacations.
Yeah, go. Also, like, you're good.
Is he still with Linda?
Oh, that was the last thing to say. Linda released a statement like a couple days ago being like, oh, we haven't been together in like 50 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
She's like, yeah, we're married. Well, like, not really.
Oh, that's funny.
I know.
Interesting.
No wonder this guy's trying to get blowies.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
He's
it
like
a
married
little bit
but
better.
can't like have a relationship.
Interesting.
So she's busy being a politician and he's busy with all this.
Great.
And WWE is doing great.
I'm sure it is.
They won against the Pandas. They're good to go.
Wow, well, that was really fun. I particularly enjoyed the videos. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the full effect.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the ones you'll want to see some of the videos around it. Hopefully our descriptions did them at least a little bit of justice.
Right.
And you'll find us, I guess, at the next SmackDown event.
You will. You certainly will. You can also find me at Caroline's on August 10th. For the group chat show, please buy tickets. And for any other dates, follow us on Instagram.
Yep. And like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.